you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Is it just me or is it glitching all the way?
Yeah, the video's skipping a new intro.
New
intro was tripping.
We can fix that thing. Hello, everybody. Obviously, we are working the kinks on the new intro. We are presented by True Classic now. We're gonna talk to them more about them next week, but I will tell you this: we put a tweet. I think it was yesterday. Their products are great, very good, very solid. Shirts are amazing. Hats. I mean, we got the hats. Tony and me are rocking the hats right now. But we'll talk more about them next week. But we are presented by True Classic. And we are having record prediction today. We are gonna have hot takes. So put your big boy pants, prepare to get into your feelings a little bit here, because y'all know y'all get into your feelings. Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Cleveland, Browns, all y'all get into their feelings as soon as you see the hot takes. But yeah, we're gonna do record predictions. So we're gonna start with the Ravens. We're gonna do a little bit different this time because if not, we are gonna be here until tomorrow. Ace, right now, Ravens are 10.5. Let me know what is your record prediction and your hot take for these Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, you're saying 10.5 wins for them. I think that they're gonna be right at that. I think I probably have the Ravens winning about 10 games this season. I think with the schedule that they have, I think when you look at the opponents, they probably have one of the easiest ones for this team. But now you have Lamar Jackson back. You've got the defense back. They're not completely healthy, right? They still have some guys that may be out the first couple of games, but they're way healthier than they were last year. So I see the Ravens definitely bouncing back this season. They start off with some games. I think the Jets game is going to be interesting. I really just want to see where the Jets are defensively, but I think that Baltimore goes in there and pretty much trounces them if you talk about them from a defensive standpoint against that quarterback. Be interested to see what the defense evolves to this year with the new defensive coordinator. But I think that they get back to that offense that was hard to stop in 2019. I think that they pound you on the ground, go to the tight ends. I think Andrews is in for a big season. I think he might be trying to evict Mr. Kelsey this year.
Are we really doing this?
Already? We're not into the hot takes yet.
Really?
I believe that's in the bag. But
he was in the neighborhood last year. He was. I mean, he was. He was renting. He was renting in that neighborhood.
I think it was a duplex. I don't know.
Yeah. We need to find out if it was a rent to buy situation or what he was doing.
But yeah, I've got the Ravens winning at least 10 games minimum this season.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going floor 10 and
it sounds like from Ace, you wouldn't bet on it though, right? I mean, at 10.5, it's just kind of a stay away because it's so close to that number.
So you're going 11?
Yeah.
No, I can see going 11. I feel super comfortable with 10. I don't think that they go anything under 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it interesting, by the way, when we talk about Baltimore? This was the last place team in the division last year, right? They went 8-9, and now they have the highest win total in Vegas this year at 10.5. Obviously, it's not that shocking because this team was just decimated. Well, a couple things. One, they were decimated by injury last year. That's the biggest storyline. But the other storyline that doesn't get talked about enough is that yes, they were decimated by injury. Remember, right? I kept calling them a work all year because they were in 8-3. I mean, they were good, right? It was funny how they would play every game like they're this bad team, woe is me, and then it was like this shocking comeback they would do in the second half of every game. Even though they have Lamar Jackson, they still had a ton of talent out there, right? They were still an 8-3 football team that looked like they were going to potentially even, I wouldn't say cruise to a division title, but the division winner had 10 last year. They had 8 after 11 games. So yeah, it is interesting though. They go from worst place to first in the division, by these rankings.
With that, Q, where do you have the Ravens?
I think I have Ravens at like 12 wins this year. I think Lamar's going to come back, play really strong. There were signs of him playing really strong up until he got nicked up with injuries last year. The real question is, hey, how much is Ronnie Stanley going to mean for that offensive line? That's been the Ravens' biggest issue the last couple of years, why they haven't really reached expectations because the offensive line has just been miserable at certain points. So if Ronnie Stanley can be, I don't know if he's going to be all pro Ronnie Stanley again, but if he could just be pretty good left tackle Ronnie Stanley, then that'll be good enough for him, right? And that'll fix a lot of problems that they have on that side of the ball. Defensively, they're going to be solid. They have enough pieces there to be really good. And we know Baltimore, look, the criticism has been about their lackluster ability to add offensive weapons. It's not been about the defense. The defense has been adding weapons throughout this whole process, even to the points where it took David Ajabo over a guy like a George Pickens, right? So we're not worried about that defense. When you have Lamar Jackson, we're not worried about the offense on that Baltimore side. The question with Baltimore is not about the regular season. They're going to be a good regular season football team. The question is, hey, can they get over whatever these issues are that have made them seem like a disappointment when it comes to the postseason, whether that perception lines up with reality?
Yeah.
So Q, you have them at 12, you said, right?
Yeah, and a very unhappy cat that I came back from a vacation early to come to work.
Before I go to you, Tony, hey,
Yeah.
Do you have any hot takes for those Ravens?
Do I have any hot takes for the Ravens? I will say, yeah, man. I think Mark Andrews. How many yards did he have last season?
He got 13.
It was like 1,300, 1,400, something like that. I want to say
1,600 this season. 1,600 for Mark Andrews. I'm going there, bro. I don't think. I think he's going to be the number one guy. No Hollywood Brown. Somebody's got to take up those targets. And I think it's going to be him. Like, honestly, like I was joking and said that I think that the guy could go to close to 2,000. I think 1,600 is where I'm at. And I think it's probably about 10 touchdowns for Mark Andrews. Tight end one this season.
I got a question for that take. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
gonna? I want to add a cherry on top of it for you. All right. Will he get to that number and be as efficient as he was last year? So is this just going to be a result of course, he got 300 extra yards because he got like a bunch more targets, but he's getting them at like 5 a clip? Or is this going to be at the same efficiency that he was getting it last year?
I think
Or
it's just
better?
going to be survival, man. I think it's just going to be, hey, let's get it to Mark Andrews as many times
You
as
think he's
possible.
going to produce at that same efficiency when they're forcing it to
I
him?
don't
a
know
little bit
about efficiency because I think when you have Hollywood Brown, you know that there's more
Mark
targets to go
doesn't-
around.
I mean,
Yeah, but like
Travis
he's saying,
doesn't
right,
have
you-
that high
how much-
efficiency. So I mean, like we saying, he,
But-
he
Yeah,
just-
I don't know if it'll be efficient because you're talking about 1,000 yards for another guy, and he had to get it at that clip. Like it might be an Allen Iverson kind of thing where it's like he's gonna take 40 shots or something.
Just feed him the rock. Just
50
yeah,
or
we're gonna get
60.
Mark 20,
I'm not
20
looking
targets
for
a game.
efficiency. I'm just looking at production from a production standpoint.
Be interesting. Yeah,
I hold my objection to this if it happens, and it probably will. He will have a ton of yards this year. If y'all try to put him in that Travis Kelce neighborhood, I'm like, look at the efficiency. That's going to be the objection.
I don't want to take anything away from what Mark Andrews did last year because I like this hot take. It's not. It's one of those like borderline, not hot to take because it's just like just look at the offense. Where are the yards going to go? And we all love Rashard Bateman. I think anyone here is trying to diss like what Rashard Bateman is going to bring them at a full season at wide receiver. But like, where are the yards going to go in the passing game? You know, none of us are big believers in Prochet or Duvernay, right? I mean, other than Sonny. Sorry, Sonny. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, but
Sonny believe in Duvernay?
I love him coming out of Texas, but right now, I would say
his first words were, "I love him." So
I loved him out of Texas. Right now,
What makes this a little
spicy?
What makes this a little spicy is Travis Kelce's best year as a tight end was like 1,300 yards. I'm saying that he's going to get more than that. I'm saying he's going to get more than Travis Kelce.
You're saying the penthouse is his.
Hold on. 1,400 yards was Travis Kelce's
I think
best
he got
year.
more than that.
I've got him getting more than that.
So the thing with Andrews last year, though, I do think, and I have to look this up again because I looked it up a lot when we were talking about tight ends in Pittsburgh. Because one of the things is when Huntley came in, he went to Andrews. I mean, who is a kind of tier 2 type quarterback or tier 3 type quarterback's best friend? It's the tight end. It's the easiest target. It's the biggest target out there. He's usually over the middle. It's right within the quarterback's vision. right? And so, that is just where those guys go, especially a guy like Mark Andrews. I'd have to look up the splits of before, because look, I don't want to say Mark Andrews wasn't having an elite season before Huntley came in, but I do feel like there was an acceleration in production when Huntley came in. And if Lamar plays all 17 this year, look, Mark Andrews still going to have a great year. But in that case, would I say maybe he doesn't go over this number or over the 1,300 he had last year? I could see that. I could see him actually having, like to Quincy's point, I could see him having with Lamar like a more efficient season where they get him in more catch and run situations, right? They get him in situations where he's down the seam and he's able to make some plays. So he doesn't have as many yards, but it's like it's more efficient. Whereas last year with Huntley, it was just, at the end of the year, it was like, just get Andrews the ball.
Yep. Q, do you have any hot takes for the Ravens?
I feel like I've been saying hot takes about the Ravens all summer, and they don't even turn out to be hot takes. They just turn out to be what happens with them. I guess here's what I'll say is a hot take for the Ravens. Rashad Bateman, you know what? I'm gonna go there. Rashad Bateman will have more receiving yards than Mark Andrews.
Ooh, that is hot.
That
is hot.
That is a hot take.
Okay.
So you guys are good hot takes. I'm looking at mine. I'm going, is mine even a hot take anymore? I don't even think it is. I don't even think mine's a hot take anymore.
With that, Tony, what is your record for the Ravens?
So, looking at this whole division, I think there's only one team in this division where I look at their roster and the way that the season's going to kind of play out for them and say, okay, I don't have a lot of questions about the talent level. I think I'm very comfortable with the talent level of one team in this division. But the other three, we'll talk about each of them. The Ravens are certainly one of them. The reason why I have question marks about the talent level on Baltimore is obviously we have all these guys coming back from injury, and we know that if these guys were healthy, this is going to be, they were an 8-3 team without a lot of these guys last year. And then Lamar got hurt and it all kind of fell apart. Well, they also ran into Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, but that's neither here nor there. So it's hard here. I lean over. Not just lean over. I think if this team is healthy, they could be like the 1 seed. They're just such a well-coached team. As I've always talked about with Baltimore, it's just if Lamar's in, you're an automatic 10-win team, and then you just figure it out from there, and 10+ wins. And so assuming that Lamar is going to be healthy, and yes, a J.K. Dobbins is how healthy he's going to be and how early. I saw Ronnie Stanley's back at practice today, but is he back fully? Is there some kind of pitch counter on the left? I don't think you can do that to a left tackle. Linderbaum went out with injury already.
So by the way, Linderbaum did play the last preseason game.
He did. Okay, good. Yeah. So and it's just that kind of look. I think this could be. Quite honestly, my hot take here for them is I think the Ravens could probably run away with the 1 seed in the AFC. And I know it's a loaded AFC, but I won't be shocked if we're looking at the end of the year and we're looking at a Ravens team that has 2 losses. Because if they stay healthy, I think that's kind of their ceiling. And with as good as this coaching staff is, I trust them they can get to that ceiling. Now, my other hot take is, though, how many playoff games they're going to play in? 1 and done, baby. The old 1 and done trick there in Baltimore. But I think of all the teams in the division, I think they are probably the most safe for me to go over because I feel like that this team could be a 15-win team. There's another team you can say that about, but
I put you for 15 there.
No. Let's call it in the ad. Let's back it down a little bit. I'll go 12, right? Because I have enough questions about this team. Then we'll keep it. I'll keep it reasonable at 12.
12 might get the 1 seed though.
Yeah,
it could. Yeah. But remember, they have a 4th place schedule, so they do avoid. I don't know. It's the West that we don't play this year.
Yeah, we avoid Kansas City, and we avoid
the Bills.
Titans. No. Everybody plays this.
Oh, everybody plays. Oh, we all play the East. That's right. You avoid.
So we avoid the Titans, which whatever.
Nah.
Okay, but the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs is the one that we avoid. We get the Broncos, the hype Broncos. Okay, we have a couple super chats before I get my take. Nova Stone here. Will Burrow collapse under pressure versus either? Tom Brady, the Tom Brady super chat, man. Can't miss it.
I'll be there, Nova Stone. I hope you'll be there. I'm pretty sure you'll be there too.
I wonder if Tom Brady gonna be there.
Oh.
Tom Brady is most definitely giving me. I might leave in the middle of my shift vibes this year. You know what I mean?
Did you guys see that report? It's very page 6 type stuff where it's family drama. But there was that report this week that I did read where him and his wife are not getting along right now, and She's
Because
very
he
upset.
told her he was going to retire,
Yeah.
and the whole time he was trying to plot to become the owner of a football team. Just saying, this got a whole lot of, you know what? I don't need to come to work today.
Especially considering this. You can say anything you want about New England, right? Talent-wise, receiving-wise, they never had top-tier receivers. Right? They had Gronk, Edelman there. But the one thing New England always tried to pride themselves was O-line, right? Bucks did that for him. But right now that O-line is very injured, right? They lost their center. They lost one of the tackles. I think the backup tackle also got injured. If this O-line is susceptible to penetration and Tom Brady's getting hit a lot, he might be, you know what? F this shit. I'm done.
Especially up the middle, right? I mean,
Up the
Tom.
middle,
Yeah. I mean, at 45 now.
Yeah.
He never was the most mobile guy, but yeah.
Nope.
I don't even think he's playing right now because he want to. He just like, I ain't got nothing else to do. Guess I want to.
Well, he did the whole. I think he's playing this year because he said that whole like I want to play till I'm 45 and then I'll retire. Right? It's like, okay, well, I'm at 45 now. Let me go one more, and then
because he has a contract with Fox already, right?
Yeah,
big contract. Yeah,
he seems like he is thinking about the next step. Like everything about it, it's just like this year.
I would love for him to go out in a 6-10 season. I mean, nothing would make me happier. Nothing would make me happier than to watch Tom Brady go out as like a 6-10 quarterback.
He'll go like 10-7, get bounced
6-11 or whatever
or
we do
something
nowadays.
like that.
Okay, as a Bengal fan, I hate the other three teams in the AFC North, but I got much love for Tony, Sonny, and Q, and of course, my man Ace Boogie. Shout out to you, Matt Mosley.
Appreciate that, Matt.
Baltimore has no receivers from Leslie Atkins.
They have one. We'll give them one. Let's give them one.
They got one.
One.
You keep
James Prochet.
Yeah.
Bro. Ravens are
Miles
the
Boykin.
only team that can beat the Bucks.
Did he get cut from the Steelers?
No, he made the team.
Hot take, both TJ and Miles break the sack record. I didn't
tie?
know that's a hot take.
Well, they can't both break it.
Well, they both could.
They can both break. They can both
one of
pass
them
Michael
will
Strahan, but one of them's going to break it
Unless
because
they're
they're going
tied.
to have it.
No, unless they tie at the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, you got 23. They both get 23 for the season. That's breaking it, and they both would do it.
Well, imagine if Miles gets to like 27 and then TJ's at like 22, but TJ plays Baker Mayfield again and gets to like 27.5.
Joe Mixon for 2,000 yards rushing this year. That's from Brandon.
Yeah, that won't happen though. That's impossible.
Yeah, they're not going to run him enough.
They're not going to run him enough.
2,000
Even
yards.
if they have a great running game, there's no way he runs for 2,000.
The North would rejoice if Joe Mixon had 2,000 yards.
Oh, if they turn into like a run first, like let's hide our quarterback type team that runs for 2,000 yards, like yeah, sign me up for that.
Mark should force his way to Bucks better with Tom Brady.
Oh my goodness, for 1 year, dude, for 1 year, and we're not even sure.
Kenny Pickett's hands need to grow, and before with that, I also wanted to make sure is it here? To shout out to Adam Holland. He's one of our patrons. He bought the top tier. We give them the shout out. Thank you for the help. Thank you for supporting us. Adam Holland, shout out to you, bro. Okay, let me say this for the Ravens. I'm going with the over 10.5. I agree with Tony. I actually think against the Jets we might be, limping because they're trying to be super careful for everybody. So I don't think Ronnie Stanley plays this week. Peters might not even play this week either. I mean, he's been practicing. I'm just saying I think Harbaugh's taking it very, very gently. Not that I'm saying that they're going to lose to the Jets, but I'm just saying that they are going super. I mean, I have never seen the Ravens not play any starters ever that I remember.
Did they play no starters in preseason?
No. I mean, other than the rookies, right? They say the rookies, for example, Linderbaum got hurt, but they say, okay, last week, last game of the year, here.
What about like Bateman? Did they, like second-year guys, did they play?
Nope.
Wow.
They went super conservative, unless you were like fighting for a roster spot, right? Or you were trying to battle yourself to be the number 2 or 3 guy and some X position. Like Odafe only played like very limited snaps, and those snaps he was just doing things that you don't see him doing in the regular season. Basically, trying new things with him, right? Like they put him in the middle linebacker position and just covering some plays. Like they were changing it up. The D line, I will say, is probably the ones that have some starters playing. But for the most part, yeah, you didn't see many starters playing. On the defensive side, maybe a couple, but on the offensive side, definitely didn't see. Maybe the left guard. I know they're in competition for the left guard position. Those guys played, and Juwan James, he was getting accustomed playing left tackle, so he played a lot in the preseason. But other than those guys, you didn't see much. That being said, I think the Ravens, hopefully, if they stay healthy, I similar to Tony, I had them at 13-4. I have them at 13-4 this year, obviously over the 10.5. And I think they're a good team. And similar to Tony, they had 8 games with a limping roster. Lamar goes down. Even those next 5 games, they were in it. Not against bum team. I mean, against the Rams, they lost. They went for 2. They lost. Rams obviously defending. They're the defending champion coming in this year. And I mean, I think we lost by 1. Oh, Packers, right? Another good team. We lost for 1 possession without Lamar Jackson. So even without Lamar Jackson and the rest of the guys that were missing, this team had them close. So I think if they stay healthy, right? That's an if for Baltimore this year. I think they go and win. And go with the 13 wins. I think that the schedule is favorable. Obviously, there's tough matchups in the division with the Bengals, Steelers, and the Browns are always tough. They also play Buffalo like everybody else in the division this year. We'll see how the Broncos are, but the Broncos at least are going to be a good team. So they have good matchups throughout. But I think with the schedule right now, I see them at 13 wins right now.
Does it worry you at all? You were talking about the offensive line there for a second, and just kind of these guys not playing, and guys coming in and out or whatnot. Offensive line is always one. It's the fans. What do us fans always say about a bad offensive line? At the start of the year, right? Well, they just have to gel, right? We just have to wait for them to gel together. That's the real problem. Is these guys don't know how to play together. And look, there's always some truth there. I mean, obviously, it's like the fan in us who just wants to believe that this bad thing could turn into a good thing because of this this like nebulous idea of gelling. But does it worry you at all when you do have so many moving parts on that offensive line and they haven't played like this? So assuming Sunday against the Jets will be the first time these 5 guys all play together, right?
Yeah, I mean, so in the preseason, I said no starters play, but so Moses, the right tackle, he played.
He did play. Okay, good.
Yeah, he did play. And Seidler played next to him for those snaps. And then Linderbaum obviously didn't play with them because Linderbaum was out of the first 2 games, and the last game none of them played. The left guard that's playing Powers, he played, and then Juwan James. Now, if Stanley plays, that's a new plug, and so is the center. If Stanley doesn't play, then essentially just Linderbaum will be there. But yeah, I mean, I'm worried. Yeah, I'm worried because I'm not thrilled with Juwan James over there on the left side.
And then what's going on at running back? Is is Dobbins like the week 1 starter? Have they even said anything about that?
Harbaugh also doesn't like to say ish, right?
Yeah.
Harbaugh is not a guy that like he's paranoid. I think Dobbins plays. I think he is in a pitch count though.
Yeah. So then it's Mike Davis because Gus Edwards isn't ready yet, right? Gus Edwards
he's up. But then you're gonna have Davis and Drake. Those are the other 2. Remember they got Drake.
Oh yeah, that's right. They signed Kenyon Drake.
Yes. So they had the 3.
Remember him from 3 years ago? He was good on Arizona.
So I think they have. I think they would be fine with those 3 running backs for now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then my hot take for the Ravens. I'm gonna give you my hot take here.
Undefeated.
No. That would have been bad. That would have been hot. I think Odafe Owe 99 gets me 15 sacks this year.
What?
Wow.
15.
He had what, 7 last year, if I remember right? 6 or 7?
Yeah, around 7. Yep, 15. Double it.
Wow. Mike McDonald magic. The Mike McDonald magic.
Double it.
When was the last time a Ravens edge rusher got 15 sacks?
Terrell Suggs has to be.
No,
it has to be Suggs.
It has to be like 2010 Terrell Suggs.
No, dude.
Oh, Doomerville. No, do you think Doomerville got 15 in a year?
No, Doomerville got like 12 and a half.
No.
Doomerville was good. I'm not trying to
he was good.
Doomerville was good. I don't know if it was 15.
That was 10 years ago, by
I don't
the
know
way.
if it was 15. He was. No, he was. 2014, 17 sacks. That year.
I thought he got 18. Yeah.
That was his first year with the team.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He had 20 sacks?
No,
17.
That's crazy.
I forgot he did like kind of, he was
good
great,
for us.
and then it was gone. It was like,
He was great.
That's Myles Garrett, TJ Watt level of sack production there. You're
Yeah.
going for Dafe.
yeah.
That's
Hey
a
man,
real
look
hot
though,
take.
Dafe 08 arc for Sonny
Real
has been
hot take.
something.
Double O. Hey, look at the jersey I'm rocking.
Yeah, it is. It's
9-9.
he's-
9-9. Hey, I have to have faith in somebody because y'all don't know, y'all might not know this, right? You guys know that I love O-line, right? But I also, and the Ravens have a great secondary. God bless the secondary. But you know what I love better than a secondary? A effing pass rush. And since Terrell Suggs, having had that guy, right? So I'm rooting hard for Odafe Owe because y'all have great pass rushers. I know Bengals, you love your guy, and you should because he's great. And I know Tony and Q have two of the best in the league, so fine. And I'm here waiting.
The best two in the league.
Yeah.
hold on. I have a question for you then. So if it's 15, is that above anyone else? Like, is he still the fourth best? I mean, not fourth best, but does he have the fourth most sacked in the division, or you think he?
Oh, he
Does he
maybe number
eclipse
4.
one of the three?
No. Hendrickson is gonna kill it this year again, and y'all, your two boys will break their sack record, and they might be tied, but they will break the sack if healthy, right?
You think they break it this year? I mean, look, they're eventually going to break it. Just by,
healthy.
yeah, they will break it eventually. I don't know that this. I mean, I'm not sure that either of them breaks it this year.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, look, I understand that we're playing an extra game now, but it's not like on a year-to-year basis anyone was really getting close to 21.5 prior to last year, right?
Yeah.
So I know people keep saying that the sack record is getting broken. I see Steeler fans saying like 25 for TJ and stuff. Like,
no,
okay,
I think they get
this doesn't happen all the time.
Just above, because in the NFC East also the O lines are not great, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the AFC East. So even Buffalo's O line's not great. That's their Achilles heels right now, right? And then you go to the Jets O line. It's better than before. And then Miami's O line, okay. And the Patriots O line is
bad last year.
Yeah, and the Patriots O line is also so. Yeah, that division, that no great O line right there, right?
Yeah.
In the case of the Browns, they have to face the Steelers O line. We'll see how Mitch is, but Steelers O line doesn't look great.
Slippery. He's very slippery. You got a much more slippery Steeler quarterback this year, boys.
Oh
Not
no,
just the
who's more
statue standing
slippery?
back there.
Ben getting rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds, or
Well,
Mitchell
he might
Trubisky
take a little longer,
back
but he's
there?
slippery. But he's slippery.
Anyway,
Slippery, but you still slip. You know what I mean?
Funny. Let's pay some bills, man.
Oh, let's do it. Of course, got to tell you about our friends over at Manscaped. Football is back, baby. We're back to seeing Mahomes sling the beautiful balls all over the field. And your friends at Manscaped are here to help you sling your beautiful balls all season long. With Manscaped state-of-the-art tech, we'll have your weapon looking more loaded than the AFC North. Football may be rough, but your ball care doesn't have to be with Manscaped. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. But you have to use our promo code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word. Meet the best value bundle yet for the Manscaped's Pocket Rockets, the Platinum Package. At quarterback, the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, a wily vet who makes sure the unit is running smooth and scoring nonstop. At running back, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer built to bust through all the right holes. On the offensive line, we have our unsung heroes, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner, the Trent Williams and Corey Lindsley of Sack Protection. At wideout, the cleanest duo in the league, the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner. And at tight end, we got the product that makes your end look tight, Manscaped's Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs. On defense, there's only one thing you need. That's the aluminum-free Ultra Premium Deodorant. And to top it all off, we'll throw in the best coach in the league, the Shed Travel Bag, as a bonus. It's built to hold the team together. This travel size bag has a fumble resistant zipper. This has got to be a Super Bowl winning roster, but don't take my word for it. Head on over to manscaped.com, get 20% off and free shipping, but you have to use our promo code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word, at manscaped.com.
And it's over there in the description below. And we talked earlier about True Classic, and guys, again, we got the products a couple weeks ago, and they've been fantastic. But also Manscaped. Manscaped's products, second to none, amazing. You need to take care of your man. You need to be in top tier for this.
Protect your balls at this time of year. It's very important. It's what we all talk about, ball security this time of year, right? That's what we're all talking about.
Yes,
Help
sir.
yourself out. Manscaped.com. Get 20% off. AFC North Talk, all one word.
You don't want to be caught in the fold in the cold. You know what I mean?
Tony might have to leave us for a second. There's currently a Twitter Spaces by Steelers fans titled "Fire Mike Tomlin?" Question.
Yeah, I love it. I like, this whole Kenny Pickett thing. I don't know if you guys want to wait till we talk about the Steelers with that, or we can diverge off to that. But like, what a non-story it is to anyone who's been paying attention. But like, again, Mike Tomlin doesn't want to play a rookie, guys. Like, we came into camp. Trubisky got every single first team rep. He got every first team rep other than one drive in preseason, and people are still like, no, man, they're gonna play Kenny. Like, Kenny's gonna start. Kenny's QB1.
This is squarely on some of the radio hosts in Pittsburgh.
No, it's you're talking about one particular radio host. Let's be honest, he does a great job, so you can't even blame him.
I mean, you talking about impact right there. I mean, the fact that
is a hero. I aspire to be as big a troll as Andrew Filipponi.
Okay, so we have a couple super chats here. Says, after the way Brady retired and unretired like Favre, I want him to look as bad as Manning did in his last season, but without the Super Bowl ring.
That's nasty.
Yikes.
The other day I asked Q. The other day I asked Q for an over/under of 1K on Bateman, and he said under. Q, are you saying Andrews will have less than 1K as well? Go Ravens.
I might have changed my mind, or I might have not. I'll let y'all decide the answer to that question.
I like it.
Brandon here says Bengals and Bucks in the Super Bowl, and Brady passes the torch to Burrow. Who are they?
Wait.
He's just gonna peacefully be like, here you go.
Yeah,
here's this one motion, Joe. Here you go. I'm 45. Yeah, it is your game now, kid. They're gonna take this knee.
Like when Brady beat Mahomes, did he pass the torch then? I don't. Yeah, I mean, what exactly is passing?
Tom Brady, known for just being
on purpose.
Yeah, just losing. You know what I mean? In Super Bowls.
Yeah, big game. You can't trust Tom.
Yeah.
That would be interesting though. That would really like if it were Tom Brady, and it could be any of your teams. I mean, it doesn't matter. But if it was a Super Bowl where Tom Brady could win his 8th Super Bowl, or I had to watch, let's say, Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or the Browns win the Super Bowl. I don't know who I would cheer for. I may just not watch.
No, I
may actually just go, you know what?
Boycott.
I'm a Formula One guy. Like, I don't even like this. All this comes down. That's it. That is the end.
Hey, Formula One is big over here. I didn't know how big Formula One was in the world.
That's a lot of fun.
Until you
imagine if one of us beat Tom Brady before the Steelers ever even have a show.
Hey, we got one more this year. We got one more against Tom in week 11 or something.
Yeah, everybody. Yep. Tom Brady using these reports to motivate and dominate.
Yeah, he's using reports that his wife hates his guts to motivate
I don't think Tom got time to be reading reports right now, bro. Like, he got too much going on. You know what I mean?
I'll just say this: those of us who are married, when you're in a massive argument or something with your wife, right, that's lasting multiple days, I don't think you do better at your job in those days. That's just my I don't go to work like, man, I'm really gonna.
Happy wife, happy life.
It doesn't propel you to your tip top, performance.
Really not. Really.
It lingers, huh?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Ray Rack here, hot take. The Steelers might have gotten better at QB overall, but they will not be better than they were last year at the end.
Yeah, I think that's a very salient point from Ray Rack. I think that is the big question mark on the Steelers this year. Even if you upgrade a quarterback, doesn't matter.
And then here we have, but don't forget.
In all fairness, I don't think we've ever seen Q wear a hat, so I don't think Q's just gonna grab a hat and put it on.
Look, man, I'm under 30 still. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I'm gonna flash my under 30 privileges.
Hey, I still got mine too, man.
Yeah, we going all. Listen, all ball. I mean, listen, that's clean shaven, boys. That's clean shaven. Clean shaven.
Okay, but don't forget, Tony. If the Browns win the Super Bowl, you will make some money.
I will. That is in now. I found a bookie that I locked that in. So you are congratulations.
You bet on that?
We're in. Yeah, 2 units. I put 2 units on it, so we're in.
I wonder what those odds are.
Oh, I think it was like 8.5. I have to look them up.
Let's move on with the number 13, the Browns. Ace, what do you think about the Brown record? Right now, they're sitting at 8.5. That's the over-under. What's gonna be your record and the hot take for the Cleveland Browns?
I mean, I think that's about right. I think just given the situation with Watson missing 11 games, I think that's pretty much where they should be at. But I mean, Watson is going to have a couple games, right? And if he comes back and it's a situation where he kind of goes on a streak or something, I think that they could potentially move the needle a little bit higher. But given what we've seen, I have not seen enough of Jacoby Brissett to even know what's going on. And I think with him, he's going to probably win half of the game. So I probably put them at about 8 wins, I think, this season. I think 8 wins is probably where they're going to be at. I think that they have potential to go above that. But anywhere above that, I think it would have to be Jacoby Brissett is just on fire out of nowhere. A hot take, though, I do think he's going to do better than people think. I do think a lot of people are thinking like Jacoby Brissett's only going to win 2 or 3 games. I think it's more than that. I honestly do think that he's going to win more than that. I guess a hotter take, I don't know for the Browns what the hotter take would be.
It's hard because
Kareem Hunt has more yards than Nick Chubb this year, but that's not even a hot take because he's better. He's a better player.
No, because he doesn't get as many snaps. That's a hot take.
Well,
He said more yards. Like
Yeah, more yards.
That finally figures it out.
No, he's rushing yards.
Sorry, I haven't done my hot take yet.
Okay, I'm about to say he can't really believe Kareem Hunt's gonna have more rushing yards.
Yeah, that is a flaming take right there.
That's not even a hot take. That's a troll. Like, we gotta filter that one out.
It's like it's a running gag on the show.
Yeah. That's a bit.
Any other hot takes, please?
I don't have any other hot takes,
Okay.
man. I think the Browns are a good team. I think that they'll be just fine. I mean, if you want to consider the Jacoby Brissett one a hot take, I guess, but I think they're a good team. I don't, I can't say Myles Garrett is going to get, what would I have to say, 30 sacks for it to be a hot take? I mean,
you have to, yeah. It has to start with a 3 in order for it to be a real hot take, yeah.
They're a good team. Nick Chubb, great player. The only thing I guess that I could say that would be a hot take is that who's the Anthony Schwartz?
Yeah.
Trey Archer.
Well, you gonna go 300 yards for Anthony
600
Schwartz?
yards this season for Anthony Schwartz, I think would be a hot take.
600?
Because a lot of people are trying to nail him to the cross. I think he's going to come out, and I think he's going to find a place in that offense. I'm not too high on it, but I think he'll just be like a deep threat. He's going to have games where he might have some drops, but he's going to have some other games where he will be a factor. I think 700 yards for him, I think it's a hot take. So I'll take that one. I'm in on Anthony Schwartz since that's one that wouldn't be super likely.
That's a good one.
Cute.
All right. So the number's 8.5. I've been pretty consistent. I think the Browns are like a 9-10 win team, even when the suspension was like at 6 games here for Deshaun. I don't think it really changed the math too much that it's at 11 now. Jacoby Brissett through 11 games can be at 6-5. I think that's pretty much like leaning on the good side of results there if he gets to 6-5. 5 wins, I feel like is like, hey, if we want to keep this season alive, he absolutely has to win 5, and then we can lean on Deshaun to get the rest. But anything below 5, and then we're talking about getting Deshaun ready for next year, right? And if he gets to 7, I mean, Jacoby Brissett, have fun in free agency next year. You're gonna get the bag. Somebody gonna
Watson
give you
in that case. That's it. You got to trade Watson back.
Nah. Jacoby Brissett will have a nice payday waiting for him by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or whoever's going to need a quarterback. You know what I mean? So somebody going to pay him nicely. But yeah, I do feel like the Jacoby Brissett, like the especially like with the thirst to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, the disrespect for Jacoby Brissett like went up like a whole nother notch. And I get it. He's not exciting. He's not the funnest guy to watch. You're not going to watch tape or Jacoby Brissett in practice and go, man, we feel good about the position. We're going to be great this year because of the quarterback. That's just not what he's asked to do. He is asked to manage games, not turn the ball over, and to do the one thing that Baker could not do last year, which was, hey, Baker, for all his positives and faults, had a issue where a lot of his negatives made the defense's life much harder than it needed to be, which cost the Browns multiple games throughout the year, right? You talk about falling behind the sticks, causes a lot of 3 and outs. You talk about the turnovers. You talk about all that stuff, the lack of time being taken off the clock because we need to throw the ball more because Baker Mayfield wants to throw the ball more, all that stuff, right? did not make the defense's life easier. If you want to win games with a defense, you have to have a quarterback that plays that style and is okay with it. Jacoby Brissett plays that style at the very least, so they have a better chance of being able to close some of these games out. I will say this. Jacoby Brissett is not I wouldn't deem him as clutch, right? But he has had moments that you would find unexpected of Jacoby Brissett in the fourth quarters of football games at times, right? He has had big time throws in those moments. He has come through in those areas. So I do think in the end of games, he's not going to be Tom Brady. But I think he is going to be not terrible, right? He doesn't lose his composure is my main point to get to, right? He stays calm in those moments. So all those things make me feel like, okay, we're all right. You know what I mean? With Jacoby Brissett, I'm not really tripping on that. Defense should be good enough to carry this team. I don't think the NFL is built to where a defense could carry you to 12 wins or anything above like 10. But, for a portion of the year, I think it's certainly fine to do that. The big question is these Deshaun Watson games, right? This last 6 games. Not a lot of people have been talking about it because everything else has been cloud in the water with Deshaun. But the fact of the matter is you look at those 6 games, 2 of them are against division opponents. Well, 3 of them are against division opponents. 2 of them are, the big ones, right? The Bengals and the Ravens, right? I believe those are both road games. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. You do play the Steelers at the end of the year, and that's just the end of the year division game is a crapshoot on whether it's going to matter or not, right? Because sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's like a 50-50 chance. So those 2 games are going to be very important for Deshaun. All those other games are very winnable games for them, right? You're talking about like the Saints, talking about the Texans. None of these teams are the Commanders. These aren't world beaters that you're going up against in that 6-game stretch. And you don't expect to get swept by Baltimore, Cincinnati. I think we're all kind of assuming Jacoby Brissett is not going to win those 2 games in his stretch, even though I think there's a chance he could win that Monday night game at home versus the Bengals just because it's a Monday night game at home. Maybe somebody has, like one of the star players has an incredible performance that game. But knowing that, right, you're going to go into those last 6 games feeling like, hey, it's not out the realm of expectation to believe that Deshaun could win all 6 of those games, should at least win 4, right? And that way, you get to 5 wins with Jacoby, 4 wins with Deshaun. That's how you get to 9. You get anything better than that, you get to 10. And I think 11's where it caps off. I don't think you get any higher than 11 this year, which is fine. But yeah, that's why I'll say, hot take for the Cleveland Browns. Where can I go with a hot take for the Browns? Because there's been so much, right? Like there's been so much.
Are you also going to do a Dre Archer hot take?
No, I've seen enough.
He could be Jamar Chase. Jamar had a bunch of drops in preseason and then just lit it up.
I apologize to Jamar Chase's family that you made that comment. That is so disrespectful to Jamar Chase. That is so.
You don't think Anthony Schwartz?
Jamar Chase was a better wide receiver than Anthony Schwartz his freshman year of high school. Like
that is definitely true. That is 100% true.
Yeah, that is 1,000% true. And that is disrespectful to Anthony Schwartz, but it's also just true. But yeah, sometimes the truth is just disrespectful. But I would go here. You know what? Since it's a hot take show, and since I guess this is just where we're going, David Njoku outproduces Mark Andrews.
Okay.
And buys his condo in the neighborhood. Tony said something important at the beginning of this show. Tony, do you know what I'm alluding to what you said?
Oh, true. What do tier 2 and 3 quarterbacks love the most?
Tight ends. And what do quarterbacks who haven't played a game in 700 years love even more? Tight ends. What does Deshaun Watson love to throw to? Tight ends. This is all pointing towards David Njoku getting a lot of targets this year, right? Because he almost has to. Because it's him, Amari Cooper, and hang on for the rest. You know what I mean? So somebody got to get the production this year.
When you talk about Njoku, I thought you were going to say Njoku had the most yards of all your receiving core. And I was like, oh, man.
Well, I mean, if he has more production than Mark Andrews, he will be the number one lead receiver.
He'll be the number one target on their team for sure. Yeah, I mean that's.
I don't think we had a 1,000-yard wide receiver last year.
Take. Like he could outproduce Amari. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
No. He's gonna. All right, that's the hot take. David Njoku, he's gonna make his way into the neighborhood. to go look at some property,
Yeah,
see if he want to purchase. You know what I mean?
He's gonna be calling his realtor.
Yes,
He's
sir.
gonna be looking at the property. Okay.
Got a new contract. It's about
Yeah.
time. It's about that
Tony.
time, David.
I have more hot takes than I do predictions on the Browns. I just keep cycling through the hot
You
takes.
already
Let's
had-
start with
True
one.
Steelers
I'll just
fan.
sprinkle them in. I'll just sprinkle the hot takes in as we go through this record prediction.
By the way, this is Tony's favorite show. Hot take
Number
show.
one. Yeah,
Tony-
of course.
Tony's
The hot
favorite.
takes episode last year I went
I
nuts.
mean, this is the
Number
show.
one hot take for the Cleveland Browns. This is not even a hot take. This is just fact. Joshua Dobbs is starting games for the Cleveland Browns this year, boys. Get ready. QB1 in Cleveland is not Jacoby Brissett, Josh Rose. Get these clowns out of here, okay? Let's bring in QB1. Joshua Dobbs starting football games for the Cleveland Browns this season. All right, so their win total is at 8.5. Boy, this is a massive stay away for me for all the reasons. I think Q kind of touched on it, right? Which is, okay, do you believe that Jacoby Brissett can at least get to 4? Can he get you to 4, right? Because if he can get you to 4, and then you go to the other side and you're like, all right, can Watson get me to 4 in his 6? Yeah, he could probably get me to 4, right? So now I'm at 8, you know? And it's just, did Jacoby screw around and actually win a 5th game? Or does Watson screw around and upset? I think, you know, well, I mean, would it even be, I mean, at this point with the rosters, with him on the team, would it even be an upset if they beat either Baltimore or Cincinnati, right? That's why for me, it's a stay away. I have them right at 8 wins, the Browns. I think David Bell outproduces Amari Cooper this year. And the reason why I think that, I think David Bell is a very good route runner, and he's a very good short route runner. Obviously, we talked about his athleticism. I don't know. Look, I don't know that this Browns team is going to want to be kind of a light it up down the field type of a team. And once again, the biggest targets for Brissett early on, I think, are going to be Njoku because he's that big target over the middle. And I also think what David Bell can do is just kind of creating space in his zone, and what he is best at, right? His kind of football intelligence is going to make him be open very, very. So maybe the hot take, I don't actually know. I'll say the hot, because the reasonable take would be that David Bell outproduces Amari Cooper in Jacoby Brissett's time before Dobbs comes in. Because once Dobbs comes in, you know, they're throwing it down the field. Dobbs running all over the place. I mean, my goodness. Once Dobbs comes in,
He's going to open up the playbook. Is that the take? He's
the
going to
gloves
open
are
it
off,
up.
boys. All right. I mean, you guys are not ready for Josh Dobbs QB1. Yes. Yeah. What else? Yeah. I mean, I have them right at 8. So I would take the under in the 8-8 thing. I think for all the reasons Q talked about, it's so tough to project. I think that the problem is for Brissett and the Browns, they almost have to go 4-0. You know, it's like you look at that schedule and you go, boy, you really need to be 4-0 for those first couple games.
At worst, 3-1.
Yeah, because boy, it's so easy for them to just lose the table, you know, from there on out. I mean, we talked about this before. You know, the Browns are going to have to win in a very Steelers-esque way. The thing that Brissett does the best is he doesn't turn the ball over. You know, when you want to win games like this, where you're not going to be scoring 30, you're not going to be scoring 40, we're not getting into shootouts. We're playing ugly football. Ugly football involves us not turning the ball over, and hopefully you turn the ball over a little bit to us, because we're not putting up a bunch of points. So if you do, we're screwed. And then, you know, so we can't give you easy fields, short fields, that kind of thing. Yeah, so I have the Browns 8-8. I have Dobbs starting. Let's see, when does Dobbs come in? When does Dobbs come in? Oh, you know what? Dobbs will come in week 4. Yeah, because after that Thursday game, after Brissett, boy, what, you know, losing to Mitch Trubisky. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. We're 0-3 now. That's, I think, when Dobbs. Well, yeah, that's when I think Dobbs has to come in at that point. So that's my
So you're saying that Dobbs goes 5 wins in the suspension time?
Yeah, I mean, Dobbs. Yeah, could Dobbs get to 5? Yeah, I mean, listen, QB1, boy. I've seen a lot of Josh Dobbs. Love Josh Dobbs in the preseason. Love his win.
Okay, I had actually, man, this is pretty much real consistent here. I had them at 8.
Yeah,
I win all the games and I had them at 8. And yeah, I wouldn't bet the Browns because they can easily be at 10. They can easily be at 8. Yeah, stay away. I think Brissett will be maybe better for them. It's funny because I think we said it at least 2 weeks ago when I was here. I remember me saying that first quarter, that first 4 games, that is the table setter. If you go 3-1, I think above 8 is almost a lock in my opinion. If you go under 3-1, then 8 is what I'm looking at. Yeah. So that first 4 game for me will determine a lot. Now, hot take. You know how every team gets an MVP?
Yeah.
Browns MVP, the kicker.
Cade York. Let's go. Hey, when you apply, listen, Boz came up clutch for the Steelers so many times last year.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. I like that's a great take.
Yeah,
that's not even a hot take. That's like MVP take of today.
MVP.
I did. By the way, before we move on to the next team, I did want to talk to you guys about this because it occurred to me today. Have we ever seen a situation like this where with what we're going to see from Cleveland, where they're going to get their quarterback back mid-season, essentially, right? Week 8 or later. I mean, they're going to get their quarterback back in week 11. Have we ever seen this before? Have we ever seen a quarterback who like had to sit out the first? I was trying to remember. Have we ever seen a quarterback who had to sit out like the first, didn't play, didn't practice, right? I mean, again, we're talking about not a guy that like, oh, he was on the bench this whole time, then they put him in, right? Watson's away from the team. So imagine in this case, it would have to be like an injury or something where he started the year injured for like half the year and then had to come back in the second half of the year. Then there's a really unique situation for Cleveland. And there is one hot take we're not talking about at all this year, which I think actually is not completely unrealistic, which is that the Cleveland Browns could win the Super Bowl this year, right? And we're talking about a roster that has always been a quarterback away. And the question for me is, okay, if they do get, let's say Browns fans are right and I'm wrong, right? Because I think, them getting to 6 wins is a fairy tale. But let's say they did, now they can get Watson back, sneak themselves in the playoffs, and all of a sudden, like, you got the most dangerous team in football because, like, they got a great defense and they've gotten to 6 or 7 wins without this superstar, and now here we go. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there and see what you guys thought.
Yeah, well, the closest parallel I can come, it's hard to find quarterback parallels because usually quarterbacks are hurt the whole year or they're hurt for the rest of the year. They're not normally hurt at the beginning because the practice rules make it very hard to injure a quarterback because it's the only way it happens. Right. Maybe like Teddy Bridgewater, but he didn't come back and play. So I don't know if there's been a good scenario of that. The closest parallel I could find to it is Trent Williams when he left Washington because of the whole issue with the cancerous cyst that he had. And then he had not played football for, I believe, 630 days before switching to a new team. Now, it is offensive line. It's a much different comeback, but he did come back playing better football than he's ever had before his prime there in Washington. So this change of scenery ended up being a net positive for him. One of the things that is also worth noting is that Deshaun is coming back to the building in October, and the whole month of November he is allowed to practice. So there will be some ramp up into this, right? How much of it is going to be there because you still have to prepare games with Jacoby Brissett in mind. Something tells me Josh Dobbs going to have packages. So then you also have to practice Josh Dobbs package plays. I don't know how much you have room for to be like, hey, Deshaun, take some reps with the ones in that time period. Maybe if they like surprise everybody and get to like 6 wins before that, which I just find unlikely, it gets like 6-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
But then you could be like, well, we got the win, so now we can get Deshaun ready. But unless you're in some kind of like, and that is a fairy tale if you get to 6-0 at the start of the season, unless you get to that, then I don't see how you have even more time for him to get prepared. But yeah, it's a scenario that's unprecedented.
Yeah.
So it's hard to guess which way this is going to lean. Most situations indicate that rust is usually not the factor that people make it up to be in the previous, right? Even
but see, I'm not talking about rust. I'm talking about you got a team that's played the majority of its season is gone, and then you just enter this new piece into it, right? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it's so unique.
That's the thing. In the Trent Williams one, he came in at the beginning of the year. Now, again, he practiced with the team, took number 1 reps the bulk of training camp. It's not like you're inserting him in out of nowhere. So it's still like they know Deshaun is the starting quarterback, and they're just doing whatever with Jacoby. Because, again, Deshaun was number 1 throughout preseason OTAs, mini camps, training camp, up until like the last week of the training camp process. So this won't be like they're just forcing him back in there like out the blue and it's somebody else's team, or like they would have, like if Alex Smith, did he get traded for in the middle of the season?
That's what I was just going to ask about. Like, when did Colin Kaepernick come in for Alex Smith that season?
That was in the middle of the year, but he was practicing with them, right? That was Monday Night Football. I believe it was like week 11.
See, but okay, and that I see, and that one
season though. I think it was like It was later on in the season.
And let's be real here. Let's be real. Nobody is like going under this season with the thought that like this is Jacoby Brissett's team. This is part of the reason Jacoby Brissett's here and not Baker Mayfield. So it's not like you're going to split the locker room. They all know what this is, right? He's holding it down for the homeboy. Is basically what this is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to have as much as a factor. And I think a lot of these 11 games, they're going to have Deshaun Watson in mind because a lot of them are thinking, hey, if we can just hold on and get to this number and then get Deshaun back, then that changes things. The most similar thing is like, again, the Browns had this in 2014, another scenario where it did tank the team was where they were holding on for the Josh Gordon suspension, which was 10 games. They got the 7-4. I believe by the end of that suspension, and then Josh Gordon and Johnny Manziel came in, but that's a little bit different than Deshaun Watson.
The Alex Smith one I think is an interesting one because that was injury, right? It was like Kaepernick's on the team, it's just injury, and then we got to insert Kaepernick in. It's probably the closest I guess he would come.
Or Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah, but again on the team, it's not as
yeah, as I'm saying, like
we're
just talking about somebody.
This is essentially a guy coming back from injury mid-season, right? Which you rarely see at
Drew Bledsoe came back from injury, never got that job back.
Yeah. How worried are you? But Sonny and Ace, how worried are you guys about the Browns kind of being this kind of sleeper in the AFC as far as that end of the year? This team screws around and wins 6 or 7 without him, and now all of a sudden,
oh yeah, if that happens, for
giant.
sure, you're definitely worried about. I mean, you're talking about Deshaun Watson being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, coming back to a Browns team, and who knows where other teams are health wise at that point in the season. It's almost kind of not going to say an advantage, but it's pretty much an advantage if they're able to win enough games with Jacoby Brissett and hand the keys over to Deshaun Watson. You're talking about a wrinkle that other teams haven't really seen, haven't prepared for. You're talking about a guy that was an elite quarterback the last time we saw him. So it's definitely something to keep in your mind and hope that they get out to a slow start so that doesn't happen. But I think it's very realistic to expect if Deshaun Watson comes back that, he could be coming back roaring to try to put that team in playoff reach, especially if they're in reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say this. I've been liking the Browns roster for the past couple of years, right? Been very high, I think, in all my rankings of the Browns. And this is now with a better quarterback. So that tells you that, worry will be a good word for it. Okay, let me go with some super chats here. Says Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson, who you got? Well, I'm rolling with my boy. I know Q's for.
Oh yeah, Lamar. Come on.
Looks like Cap came in like week 11. That's when he came in.
Week 11, you say?
Yeah, and they went to the Super Bowl.
Let me go and bet now.
Oh, by the way, can we give ourselves a round of applause before we keep going here? Because we did a whole segment on the Ravens and we did not bring up Lamar Jackson's contract situation whatsoever.
Because what's understood don't need to be said. You know what I mean?
Of course. Okay, Ace. Schwartz needs to find a place for the ball to stay in his hands before he can find a place in this offense.
The funniest thing with this whole Anthony Schwartz thing is like people are talking about his hands being a problem. I don't know how much Anthony Schwartz people have watched. His ability to catch the football, it's not great. It's not his biggest problem. It really isn't. So poor dude. He needs development. That's all I'll say on him.
I've got a little bit of experience in this area. Little John Ross. John Ross, I think one of those seasons, 700 yards, 7 touchdowns. All it takes is a couple burns on some of those corners there. So I'm gonna stick with it. I just want to see if it happens, man.
Blaming take. It's a hot take, guys. It's a hot take. What is
I know what it's like though to hate a fast receiver that struggles with the ball in his hands though. I know what that's like.
What is Tyler's Huntley worth on a trade? Well, go Ravens. It's on Tony said that supposedly there were rumors about who was it? Rudolph fifth?
Mason was gonna get traded. Yeah, there were offers for Mason.
For a fifth, which I don't know how the Steelers didn't take that. But if that is the
That's
case,
what the rumor was. I don't know that
Huntley gets
rumors are 5th or 6th. It was the rumor. The Steelers wanted a 3rd or a 4th. So
there's no way.
A 3rd or a 4th. There's no way. There's no way they want.
Again, we'll never know as a fact, right? But that was.
Man.
They would have traded him for a 7 from somebody.
That's what
No, and we'll talk about. We're going to get to the Steelers here in a second. They kept him for the exact reason that Mark Caboli called in The Athletic. But we'll talk.
They were probably like, "You see his preseason?"
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Listen.
By the way, that was a hot take I had. I think that was on the Patreon show we did. But I said Mason Rudolph is going to play well enough in preseason to get himself traded.
He did.
Technically speaking, he did. The Steelers just, they think way too highly of him.
Ray Rack here says, I will say I like the zip on the ball Jacoby has, which Keenan and Mullins did not have. And the Ravens game for Watson is at home. The Bengals and the Steelers are road games. Thank you for that, Ray Rack. Shout out to you. Here's another one. I love that Tony's hot takes are all intertwined together like his own little hot take version of the MCU.
There's an alternate reality of the NFL that exists in my brain that's way better than the NFL that we actually watch on TV. I'll say that for sure. Imagine a world where James Pierre, CB1, like he's, you know what I'm saying? Duck Hodges is still just slanging touchdowns in Pittsburgh.
Slanging touchdowns?
Duck Hodges makes it so Big Ben has to play for like the Panthers for 2 years or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like By the way, Ben has his own podcast now, which is just going to give Steeler podcast dudes like, it's one of those things where at first you're like, really, Ben? But then, as someone who has to create content around the Steelers,
yeah,
free content. I mean,
yeah. Born yesterday says, honestly, Josh Dobbs is high. He's a smart guy and athletically is like a great value Tyler Huntley. In other words,
do not disrespect Tyler Huntley like that. Do not disrespect the GOAT Tyler Huntley like that, okay?
I'm with, you know what? I'll say this. Josh Dobbs is better than Tyler Huntley. If Tyler Huntley were on the Browns this year, they win the same games they win with Brissett, 3 or 4. When Dobbs is in there, I don't even know you can put a number on how many games the Browns can win with Josh Dobbs. I don't even know there's a number I could put on.
You guys will find a Taylor Heineke every year.
Yeah.
Every year. Find a new Taylor Heineke. And it's Josh Dobbs this year. Incredible.
Okay.
I mean, you can't argue. You cannot argue with the tape he put out there.
You can't argue with preseason production.
Spectacular.
My new Heineke is Mike White. It's Mike White season.
No,
it's Mike White season, dog.
Hey man, I hope the Browns get to catch the Jets before Mike White gets that job from Joe Flacco. You know what I mean?
Gotta catch him with Flacco, dog. Gotta catch him.
Can we do like a sidebar here? Because that's a great Mike White is a great take because the Steelers had a very similar situation. I want to get from I'm sure that Sonny and Q, you guys have guys like this too. Who's like a random quarterback that your team lost to? That was like, how do we? Because the Steelers had Bruce Gradkowski came in. I think he played for the Raiders and
the Bucks.
The Bucks too.
And
they lost. The Steelers I think lost twice to Bruce Gradkowski. Then they brought him in as a backup because if you can't beat him, join him. But who's like a random, just like how do we lose to that guy type quarterback?
I would like to point out that this is a pretty privileged conversation.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah,
I can remember how many mediocre quarterbacks have beaten the Browns over the year. It's just like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. This is what we doing.
What's it like to not win every year? I don't know.
It would be more impactful if I was like, hey, what are the random quarterbacks that played good for the Browns over the last 20 years?
Oh man, I would say Ravens hadn't lost to a rookie QB, and then they lost. This is this is a couple years ago, and then they lost to Mitch Trubisky, which they were horrible.
Get ready for a couple more of those this year.
I know who the Bengals has to be.
Blake Bortles. We lost to him.
Hey, Ravens fans, did anybody watch the App State UNC game and watch that 2-point conversion at the end of that game? I don't know if you guys wanted. Did you guys remind you of anything?
Learn a little bit. Yeah, I don't want to hear no more about 2-point conversion.
It was just an easy throw in the flat to the tight end. It was just pitch and catch out there.
Bernie, the guy for you has to be what? Ryan Finley, right?
No, I'm saying Gradkowski was the guy, but Finley, so people are pointing it out in chat. Finley is. Yeah. But that one, here's the thing about that one. I don't know. Did Finley really play great in that? I mean, he ran a bunch. The Steelers just couldn't score.
But your question was,
from what I remember, Gradkowski put up like 350 on the Steelers.
Yeah. Actually, Ben Roethlisberger would be mine.
Yeah.
That guy just came out every year and killed us. I don't know if you guys remember him, but yeah, he used to play for the Steelers.
Yeah, he was decent. Yeah,
against the Browns at least.
Blake Bortles also asked Dylan Flores says here. There's a reason why I don't want the Ravens to touch London is the only time we play in London, we play the Jaguars. And we got torched by Blake Bortles.
Was it the same year? Was it 2017? Was it the same year?
I don't think that was.
Listen, no hard feelings in that one. They made the AFC Championship game.
Ace, I'm curious to hear your answer to this question.
Oh, it was Mike White, dog, or TJ Yates, dog. Either of those two.
TJ Yates.
They don't get an honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Hold on, Quincy. There's somebody I should be thinking of. Who's the honorable mention, dog? I'm not.
Baker Mayfield?
I was just gonna say it's gonna be Baker, yeah.
Baker Mayfield is actually a decent quarterback. TJ Yates, I did not see coming. Mike White, I did not see coming for sure.
Yeah.
Pause.
People are bringing up Tebow in the chat. I blacked that game out of my memory, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, that's the 2017. It was 2017 for.
It was 2017. See, so you can't feel bad about that one. You get.
It was Blake Bortles.
No, I remember that year. Blake Bortles was the same Blake Bortles he was the year before. They just won games. That was the same exact. I remember looking at it statistically. I'm like, he's actually worse than he was last year.
It was a lot of garbage.
A lot of garbage. No, the year before was a lot of garbage. I had him in my fantasy. 2016, I had him on my fantasy
team. He was never
team.
good.
Oh, he had so many garbage time yards and touchdowns that year.
It was incredible.
He was never good. Like there's a reason why he was on the practice squad in 2018.
Elite fantasy quarterback. Maybe not an actually good quarterback.
Like I wanted the Ravens to come to London when I've been living here, and then I remember that game. I'm like, fuck no.
Yeah,
I don't want that. I don't want that.
Fun as it would be to watch him in person. Yeah.
No. Next year. My hope is to go to the home opener next year. Anyway, let's talk about the Steelers. Ace. The Steelers finished second last year. Over under 7.5. They had the lowest over and under for Vegas in the division. What is your record prediction and hot take?
Anytime that I say the Steelers aren't going to make the playoffs, they always do amazing. I am going to say Steelers are winning 9 games this year, guys. Because
I love this.
I think that a lot of people are going to think, Steelers are done. Steelers are over. I'm going to say that Mike Tomlin's going to hold them together. I do think that it's a mistake for them not to be putting Kenny Pickett out there as soon as possible. I do think Kenny Pickett sees the field at least by week 3, right? I think that they're trying not to put him out there against the Bengals and the Patriots. But I think by week 3, I think he's the starter. I think it's gonna work to their advantage because a lot of people don't have film on Kenny Pickett. They're not really gonna know how to really guard him or play defense against him. I think that's gonna play into the Steelers' hands for that. And I think that they have talent around him. It's just a situation where I think talent, coaching, and what they have surrounding him is going to help them get some wins. So, yeah, I got the Steelers winning 9 games next year. And I got them making the playoffs as well. That's the hot take. The Steelers will make the playoffs.
9 wins gets the playoffs in the
double
AFC.
glove Kenny finishing in the top 3 of the Rookie of the Year award.
I can't go that far with it.
Yeah,
I refuse.
Yeah, I will listen. I'll give you my entire AFC North proceeds for the month of September if you say that the Steelers are going to be 6-10 this year.
How I know better than this? 8 wins. They're going to win 8 wins. That's 8 wins. 8 wins. 8 wins.
Oh, you think losing season? You're saying
that means they're going to be 9-8 then, Quincy.
So you're saying
ties exist.
8-1.
8-1. Protest vote.
Okay. 8 wins. That's what they're going to. They have Brian Flores and Mike Tomlin on the same coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if y'all are familiar with his resumes, which we all are. 2 dudes immune to going under 500, or at least under 8 wins is those. Like, that's just, I ain't never seen it happen. Brian Flores, he found a way to get to 8 wins with Tua. I'm pretty sure he's going to figure it out with TJ Watt and company. 8 wins. They'll be all right. They'll be a solid, tough team with some moxie. Still a lot of questions at the quarterback position. But, we'll see. I have just learned throughout my many years of doing these shows, I'm gonna wait till that grave is in the ground. Okay, I'm not going to the funeral. Ray, I am the dude from the meme. I think I've said this before, right? With the trench coat, I gotta make sure I go to his funeral just so I know that they dead, right? And right now, I ain't been to no funeral, so I will wait until I see that black and gold coffin go into the ground until they fire Mike Tomlin or something ridiculous like that, or they lose TJ Watt before I'm feeling any comfort. Now, look, Ben's gone. They renamed the stadium. 2 out of 3 are there. 2 out of 3 are there. Mike Tomlin's still there, though. So, nope.
That's right. There's not the ketchup city anymore.
Well, hold on. This literally happened today. Art Rooney called an emergency press conference for tomorrow at 1:00.
Is that about the stadium name, or is that about Mike Tomlin getting fired?
I'm just saying. He's getting fired. They're firing Mike Tomlin. He
Yeah,
saw the depth chart. He saw Kenny Pickett's 3. He's like,
Kenny
unbelievable.
Pickett isn't starting.
Yeah.
And if Mike Tomlin was like, you want Kenny Pickett to start, you're going to have to fire me.
yeah.
Q, what would be your hot take for the Steelers?
Yeah,
Kenny Pickett looks terrible. They still win 8 games.
There you go. I knew it was about Kenny.
Yeah, there's one thing I'm not
Couldn't
going to
help
backpedal on.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett's not good. I will say that until he makes it undeniable. I don't care. I don't care if I have a horrible track record when it comes to these things in quarterback.
How many Super Bowls does he have to win before you go like, all right, fine, he's good. He didn't just get carried to, the
Dog, my bar is so low for Kenny Pickett. If he wins 10 games, that'd be his equivalent to winning the Super Bowl. That's how little I believe in Kenny Pickett.
They won 8 with Mason and Duck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kenny Pickett's not as good as Mason or Duck, but I stand 10 toes on this. If I'm wrong, we'll have a laugh about it all summer. But until then, nah. This isn't like with McCorkle Jones, where I was like, "Oh, McCorkle's gonna be all right." No. I think he's not good at all. But
Kenny Gloves.
Huh?
Kenny Two Gloves is not gonna be better than Duck. That's the hot take right there.
Yeah, that's
yeah, hot take. Yeah. I do
for me because you guys know how much I love Duck. So you guys,
yeah. So that's just all I'm gonna say on that Kenny Pickett thing. I have faith that he's not gonna be good. But yeah, I think Mitchell Trubisky will be all right, and there's gonna be a legitimate question on what the Steelers should do for quarterback going forward, given that Kenny Pickett didn't show much, and Mitchell Trubisky didn't do enough to go 8-8. And there's some belief that he could get better, right? I think that's going to be the debate there.
You think Kenny plays this year? You think Kenny plays?
I think he finds his way on the field for at least a few quarters, and it's evident that he's not good.
Okay. Tony.
Whoo, boys. All right. Where do I go with this? Where do I?
Ace was like, man, this is exactly what happened with Joe Burrow last season.
You guys unleashed. Listen.
And then Lamar the year before. Are we setting up an MVP level season for Kenny Pickett?
That's why I'm like,
I gotta test it. Because if they put Kenny Pickett into the Hall of Fame, there's something to this. Because it's the only way Kenny Pickett
that picture saved somewhere. That's all I'm gonna say.
Huh?
Well, I'm just saying that picture will live. That picture could quite possibly live in infamy as the only time you guys have ever been happy about Kenny Pickett.
Okay, no. See, this is ridiculous.
I'm just saying.
This is ridiculous. No.
Just imagine that was the high. That was the high point of Kenny Pickett for you guys. That was it. Because from that point,
this is.
Oh man.
We talk about, I do want to mention the Kenny thing because Kenny so Kenny's QB3 on the depth chart, which everyone's freaking out about. Oh my God, I can't believe Kenny Pickett's QB3. Now, as I've said, we talked about this on the Twitter spaces we did. Kenny's not going to start this year, right? And Tomlin does not want to play Kenny. Tomlin said all the way going back to last year when he talked to Jay Glazer about this, Tomlin said, I want a veteran for next year. So it should come as no shock to anyone that Trubisky's starting. Now, I do get the kind of, oh my goodness, I can't believe Kenny's QB3, but as Mark, and I'm going to give credit to Mark Caboli of The Athletic. He's the beat writer there. He does a great job, and he called this early. He said, look, don't rule out that Kenny's not activated on game day because in a pinch, this team's probably going to want to go to Mason if Trubisky gets hurt in a one-game sample. And now if it's an extended injury, obviously then Kenny starts. But as far as if you have a one-game plan, I can go from Mitch to Mason and feel comfortable about that. And then if it's a long-term thing, I go to Kenny. So credit to him. It seems like that's going to be the Steelers' plan. Kenny won't even be suited up on game days. So the Kenny chants in week 2 aren't going to make any sense. Steeler fans, just if you're going to the home opener, you don't need to chant Kenny. He probably won't be activated. As far as the over under here is 7. So Vegas is saying that this is it, right? This is the end of the Mike Tomlin streak. The Mike Tomlin never had a losing season going all the way back. But this would be the first one. Boy, like you guys, it's like I just, even though my brain tells me, yeah, this has got to be it, right? Because I keep coming back to the same saying, but if not now, when, right? This is the moment that all Steeler fans we're supposed to, as Steeler fans, dread right now. Hall of Fame quarterback gone, right? This is it, right? It's quarterback hell now for your team, and you just drafted this rookie that nobody believes in and all that. And yet, I'll speak for every Steeler fan in chat. Aren't we Steeler fans more excited about this season than we have been in years? I mean, this is the most excited I've been about a Steeler football team in years. You know why? We have no expectation this year. There is no expectation for this football team at all. If they do actually go out there and win 9 games, like Ace says that they're going to do, and make the playoffs this year, crazy. I mean, that would be awesome, to watch that as a Steeler fan. So, I am super hyped about this football team. Now, as far as, if I have to take my heart out of the situation and say, okay, Tony, but you really do have to, at the end of the day, predict a record for this football team. 7-10. 7-10 is what my head tells me. The offensive line is, look, everyone who's watched the Steelers in the preseason, the offensive line isn't good. Now, there was that last game against the Lions, and again, we're like, oh, preseason game against the Lions. This is how we're going to read too much into our offensive line. The right side was good, but the left side was an out-and-out disaster. It's so bad that they're getting cast-offs from Miami to come in. People are like, well, can this guy start? This guy from Miami, by the way, that they signed. And look, I'm not trying to diss Jesse Davis. 52 games as a starter, but the dude gave up 8 sacks last year or something. So, it's gonna be another long year on the offensive line. As far as everybody wants to believe that Najee Harris is gonna be that dude this year and he's gonna take this big leap. He could, right? I mean, I'm talking about physicality wise, he could make a leap, but that offensive line is gonna keep him from doing that.
Hendrickson might break the single game record at week 1.
What's that?
Hendrickson, Bengals, man.
He might. Oh, okay. What I was gonna say, like when as far as the pass rush goes, well, I mean, listen, poor Freiermuth or whoever's going to have to chip Hendrickson on every single snap because, Dan Moore against Trey Hendrickson is a massive mismatch there. I like this defense, though. I think this defense can keep the team in games. Here's the thing, Steeler fans, you will believe that the Steelers will be a winning team if you believe that the fact that this team has been 28-1 in one-score games over the past 3 seasons is not because of any sort of luck, right? We talk about regression to the mean. It's because this is who Mike Tomlin is. This is who a Mike Tomlin football team is, and that they can continue doing that. If this team goes another 6-2 in one-score games this year, then yeah, they're going to win 9. I just feel like without Ben, without that kind of money quarterback in those money situations, that's where they regress to the mean. That's where this team is still going to be a pain in the ass, right? All my co-hosts who kind of ruled the Steelers out this year, don't let them think that when it comes to game day, they're not thinking to themselves in the back of their head we better not lose this freaking team.
I'm not ruling them out,
Exactly.
9 games, playoffs. I'm not ruling them out at all.
Where the Steelers are still the biggest pain in the ass in the entire division, right? I mean, no doubt about it. They're the thorn in the side for sure, and I think that's still what this team's going to be. But I have them going 7-10, and so I would take the under here as far as their win total.
Let me ask you this, Tony: if it gets to a situation where it's looking like a bad season for the Steelers, do you hope that they continue to lose so that you get higher in that draft ranking? Because I don't feel like the Steelers are a team that they're really ready to commit to that, right? I think
they'll never tank.
Where they started off 1-4, 1-5, and you guys traded for Minka because it was no, this season isn't going this way. Do you think that that's something that they would be down for, or you think that they're just going to go down shooting?
That left tackle on Northwestern looks unbelievably good, and he's probably going to end up being a top 5 pick. And I would like to see him in black and gold. But I'm never going to cheer for this team to tank. I mean, as much as it's the same thing, right? My head will say tank. Yeah, tank. It's the right thing to do in this situation, of course.
Right.
But we get to that Week 17 game, and Q and the Browns fans are all like, "Oh, we can make the playoffs. All we got to do is beat the Steelers. We can beat the Steelers."
Yeah, you ain't gonna want to see that.
Screw the draft.
I mean, you don't have to cheer for them to lose. You just don't have to cheer for them to win either. I mean,
no, I'll be cheering for them to win at the end of the season.
Here's the thing about tanking: unless you think you're gonna get the number 1 overall pick, you don't really know who you're gonna get. So
yeah.
Might as
Okay,
well.
now can we get to my hot takes real quick? Because I do have a couple fun hot takes.
Go,
Okay.
hot take.
Hot take
Blame
number
me.
1, Kenny Pickett does not see the field at all, does not play a single snap in the regular season at all this season. Mitch does not do poorly enough that Tomlin ever says he's benched for Kenny. That's hot take number 1. Hot take number 2, my favorite wide receiver on the Steelers this year is going to be Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool from the slot, boys. We're all the way back. We're all the way back on Chase Claypool. Let's go. Chase Claypool in the slot. Let's go. Can't wait. Other hot takes. Minka Fitzpatrick for Defensive Player of the Year, which is another take I'm stealing from Kaboli, but I do love it. I don't know that it could actually happen because of TJ Watt, right? TJ is going to get his sacks, and I think that's going to kind of split votes when it comes to Minka. But Minka Defensive Player of the Year. And yeah, the Steelers finished 3rd in the division. They finished 3rd. One of your teams out there, is finishing below my team, my Mitch Trubisky-led Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. And you said 7 wins for them, right?
7, yes. So, yes, I know that doesn't make any sense. Unless I have the Bengals winning 6, which we'll get to.
Okay. Let's talk about the Steelers here. It's Steelers for me, like the guy said, they're effing annoying at this point. I'm like, last year, I think we did 3 funerals for Big Ben. We put him, and then these guys.
Was that before or after the Ravens got swept?
This is.
No, it's before.
I don't know. No. The Ravens hadn't got swept. They just lost to somebody, and we just basically put them in the coffin. It's done.
That was the Bengals game because Ben looked so bad in that first game. That was week 3. And he was.
I think after week 3, we did it multiple times. At this point, we did multiple times of this.
I only had one, dog. I only had one funeral. I just stayed there the whole year and just believed in the pick. Didn't think he was coming back.
I will say this. My record, I'm regretting saying this, but I actually went game by game. I had them at 6.
Oh, yes. There it is. 6. All I need is one AFC North host.
Sonny,
6 wins.
Sonny, don't do it. Just give him 7, dog. Just give him 7.
But I'm not like you. I'm not pumping my chest saying that they're here going to be 4th and 12.
They're dead. No, it's a dead team. This team is dead at 6.
Yeah. No, well, I think they can be a better team because I don't think Big Ben was that great in his final year. So I think Mitch can definitely get them to, what were you guys last year? 8-1 last year? Or 9-8-1?
9-8-1. No, 9-7-1. Yeah. No, protest vote.
So I definitely think you guys can make it to 9-win this year again. But right now it's hard for me to see it. Of all 4 teams, this was also the team that I couldn't figure out hot take either. Like, what is hot? Like, Deontay Johnson leads them in yards. Claypool learns to catch without jumping. Maybe that's a hot take.
I was going to say that they're going to shut out the Bengals, but I'm going to save that for the preview show. So we'll do that on Wednesday show.
I really don't have any hot take. I will say this: if they make the playoff, please give Mike Tomlin his head coach of the year. He's way overdue for that.
He'll get it this year.
Mike Tomlin could win 9 games this year and make the playoffs, and everybody would be like, "Oh my God, he's the greatest head coach of all time." He could win 7, and people would be like, "It's time for Tomlin to go. I think we need a new voice."
Nah, the Fire Tomlin crowd is that's over.
They've been waiting for under 500. This is why Mike Tomlin don't go under 500 because he knows the second he does, I don't think he has it anymore. Like, they've been waiting forever to fire.
Can you imagine this, Tony?
But I don't think it'll actually pick up any steam. Like, obviously, there'll always be the Fire Tomlin crowd.
If he wins 7 games and Kenny Pickett doesn't even sniff the field, I think that's going to pick up more steam than you think.
Can you imagine this?
With a certain analyst that you follow, yes, that guy will be saying it for sure.
He's got so much clout, man.
Listen to this take. Let's say you guys go 6 game, right? And Kenny Pickett in practice looking horrible, whatever. It sounds like shit. I can't do this with this team anymore. The Browns also tank, right? They win 6-7, I don't know, whatever. And then your boy says, you know what? Can you just let me go, right? And the Steelers mutually agree to part ways with Tomlin.
Probably.
And then
Tomlin doesn't ever get fired.
And then he ends up over there in Cleveland because Stefanski gets fired because he had a poor season. Can you imagine that would be like a nightmare for you guys.
No.
Crazy,
Here's also what could happen. Mike Tomlin ends up being the coach of Tom Brady somehow.
Is this what we're gonna do now? So so every year on this show we would do the cut Ben thing, right? And now we're gonna they can't cut Ben anymore. They literally cannot cut Ben anymore. So now it's like fire Tomlin. How do we get Tomlin fired?
Well, hey, remember how much Aaron Rodgers loved Mike Tomlin? So maybe Aaron Rodgers finds a way to make Mike Tomlin a part of the Green Bay Packers organization.
Tomlin decides to request a trade after they tell him to start Kenny Pickett. He just refuses.
Won't do it. Can't do it.
I just want to point out the last time one of our hosts here predicted a 6-win Pittsburgh Steelers team. Actually, no, because Ace had them at 6 wins last year. I was gonna say they doubled it because that was when Q predicted 6-10, they went 12-4. Ace had them 6-10 last year.
Ace, you're muted. Ace, you're muted.
Ace, yeah, you're muted.
Oh, I said I turned the 6 upside down. It's a 9 now. Okay.
It's a 9.
All I'm saying is that even though, look, the Steelers did win 12 games that year. It was kind of like when you wish for 12 wins from like a monkey paw. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you won 12 games, but did you really like how they did it?
12? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Corvette.
How many times have the Browns won a real 12?
Okay. You guys forgot to Q's favorite ranking, the special teams. Yeah,
we did.
Automatic ban.
You know what would have been fun about
basically bringing up special teams to me is like bringing up Colt Commander to CM Punk. That's just what it's.
It would have been a fun show though because I think, and Ace, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Ace would have put the Bengals ahead of the Steelers
in special teams. We putting anybody over the Ravens? Stop it! Let's come on.
Yeah, let's do it.
It comes down to the punter. I think it comes down to the punter and special teams because I think obviously there's Justin Tucker. I think there's Money Mac in Boswell, and there's the new guy in Cleveland. It comes down to the punters, guys. What are the punters looking like? What are the kick returners looking like?
Name Mike.
I don't even know the punter's name in Cleveland at all. The punter in Baltimore just retired, so I definitely don't know that guy. The new guy.
Draft that guy.
And you just drafted a guy.
Is Huber still the punter in Cincinnati?
Good old Kevin Huber. He's
Huber,
still there.
Okay, I do know that. Yeah.
I hate every single one of y'all.
Big Kev here says
Q. We gotta do a Gunners breakdown. We gotta get into the Gunners.
That's true. Really gotta talk about coverage units. That's where they really make their money. Miles Boykin, by the way,
long snappers too.
Great gunner in Pittsburgh this year. Going to be a great gunner.
He was a
great Have you ever had a player that got kept because he was just a good special teamer? That's like the worst.
Charlie Hewitt's been on this team for like a decade.
Yeah, Steelers have like 5 of them.
Yeah, he's the Browns' long snapper, long-term long snapper. I think he's more tenured than Joe Batonio. So.
Damn.
Steelers 9-8, Browns 8-9, Bengals 10-7, and Ravens 10-7.
This is the problem with the AFC North. This is why my AFC North hot take is that only one team makes the playoffs this year from this division. I don't think that's necessarily a hot take because it is very possible for this division to beat up on itself enough in an AFC where it's loaded. And a team like the Dolphins gets in at 10 wins because they have some kind of weird tiebreaker against our teams who have all beat each other up.
There's three wild cards.
I think we're going to see a lot of 10-7 this year.
In the entire AFC, the whole AFC?
Yeah, across the entire AFC.
They're gonna take.
I think this is a perfect situation for a team that's coming out the South, the AFC South, to get the 1 seed kind of on some fluke, right? Because
last year,
yeah, just like last year, where it's going to be like, well, one team's going to get the 12 wins because they play a weaker schedule, and that probably will be either the Titans or the Colts, right?
Colts, Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, boys.
But you have to think we're going to see a lot of 10-7, 9-8, because of like people think that just because the conference is hard, the records are like everybody's going to have 12 wins. That's never how it works. When the conferences are really difficult and hard to get through, it usually means ton of 10-7, a couple 11-5, and then 1 12-4.
Yeah, well,
I'm thinking of old school NFL, 12-5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That 17th game ruined so much of my head canon. You know what I mean? 12-5 don't feel right.
It sucks.
I wish I wonder what it's like for kids that are born like today or like 5 years ago. And they just 11-5 is as natural to 12-4 them, but like it'll be hard to get used to for me forever.
And we had another one here that said the Cleveland About to keep the opening day losing streak. Mayfield's revenge game. That was another super chat that we
Who said
Tune
that?
in Wednesday. We're previewing that one.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Tune in Wednesday.
The squirrel times turtle.
All right, keep that one remembered.
Okay, let's go with the winners of the AFC North. Cleveland. Not Cleveland.
No.
Cincinnati Bengals. Sorry. I was just
We're
talking
not
about
previewing next year, Sonny. You know?
Yeah, he time traveled.
Ace. Tell me. Right
What's
for
the
now,
over under?
9.5.
I'm taking the over on that. I think the Bengals, they win probably 10 to 11 games this season. I think it comes down to the offensive line being protected. I think it comes down to Burrow and Chase having time to throw back there, getting enough time to really improve the offense. A lot of people talk about the offense last year. The Bengals offense was not consistent. There were times where last season these guys didn't start to score until 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. I think that we're going to see a lot different looks from them, a lot more consistency. I think the Bengals defense has always been underrated. I think that they're going to try some things. I thought something interesting today. They decided to waive Alan George to make room for Jesse Bates. So that means that they're going into the season really with only 3 outside corners, not slot corners, guys that can play inside, but 3 outside corners. So do they plan on playing Dax Hill at outside corner as well? I think so. I think that they're going to do a lot of exotic things on defense, especially with the guys that they have there, the 3 safety looks. You're going to see a lot of quarters and stuff like that from them. So I think the defense will really improve a lot. And I think that they're just out for revenge. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous because a lot of people are talking about regression, this and that. And usually that generally tends to happen when you have like a Super Bowl team that loses a lot of the coaching staff, like a coordinator gets hired somewhere, somebody from the staff goes away, or you have older players that just are past their prime. I think about when you take Matt Ryan, not that he's past his prime, but when you took the offensive coordinator from Matt Ryan, of course they're going to end up getting worse when you don't have Kyle Shanahan there calling plays. Bengals didn't lose anybody on the coaching staff, like literally at all. They didn't really lose too much outside of Larry Ogunjobi from the defensive line. They improved their biggest weakness. And I think that they are just going to feel like this narrative of going from the hunted to the hunter is a little ridiculous because I think Joe Burrow is going to be the hunter, especially behind the offensive line this season. I think Mixon is going to have the best offensive line he's had in his career. I think he'll be a big factor as well. And I think, last year taught them, even though they had a good season, they got to the Super Bowl and lost. Like, that's not going to go away, I think, anytime soon, especially when you have to practice against the team that just beat you in the Super Bowl to start the season off. So I think that they will be focused on getting into the postseason and making a run. I don't think it matters where they fall in the division or where it falls in the AFC. They just want to get in and make another run. If I'm talking about hot takes for the Bengals, I would say 3 receivers for 1,000 yards. I think that happens this year for the Bengals. I think that happens with the Migos. Another hot take, I think Dax Hill, and I think I wrote this one on Twitter, Dax Hill finishes top 3 in Defensive Rookie of the Year votes. Not that he wins it, but he's going to finish, I think, in the top 3 when it comes down to it.
Okay. Q.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are pretty safe for that over. The question is like how much over they're going to get over it, right? Are they going to be a 10-win team, 11-win team, 12-win team? That's the real question for them. There's not a lot of reason to expect the team to be worse unless you're factoring in certain luck elements or things like that, which is a pretty chaotic way to like project the season. I probably would say Bengals pretty safe for 10 to 11 wins. I think everybody's going to be hovering around 10 to 11 wins. A hot take for the Bengals. Well, I mean, everyone.
No, we'll go with
everyone.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah,
everybody. Well, I mean, I think it's going to be a possibility in December that every team in the North could get to that number. But as far as a hot take for the Bengals, this is a tough one, right? Because I don't know where to go with them, right? If you go up and say, "Oh, the Bengals didn't get to the Super Bowl," that's not a hot take. They were there last year.
Yeah, they just did that.
Yeah. If you say the Bengals aren't going to make the playoffs, a surprising amount of people are willing to go there, right? So it's not even a hot take anymore with that. Like I kind of want to do a Drew Sample hot take, but I don't even know. Drew Sample outproduces one of the Migos. Like I don't know where to go with this. Like,
what's the other guy's name? Like Aji or whatever. Maybe he gets. Maybe
Ozzy would definitely
Ozzy.
be.
There you go.
let's see.
Ozzy has more receiving touchdowns than Drew Sample. Book it.
There you go. Is that a hot take or that's just a normal
Okay.
take?
No, that's a lukewarm.
Here's what my
bad,
hot
okay?
take about the Bengals is going to be. It's hard with Joe Burrow because it's like he's only played one season in full. I will say Joe Burrow will have 16 or more interceptions this year.
Wow.
And he will be in the top 5 of the league in interceptions thrown.
So
What do you have last year? Like 9?
He had like 9 or 10.
I think he had 15 last year. I think.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. Because he had like
He
$1 billion
was,
against the Browns game. Browns game did him in.
Well, he only had 2 against the Browns, right?
Not Browns. Bears. Sorry. Excuse me.
He had
Bears.
3 against
Yeah.
the Bears. And
3
he
against
had
the Bears.
2 against the Browns.
Yeah,
I
they were
think.
all like in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think most of them were. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
Now
Tony.
with my luck, he throws 2 next year. He throws like 2 picks. I don't know why I felt like it was a good idea to go hot take about a quarterback
you
2
can go,
times in a row.
14
But-
was how many he threw last year.
14?
15. No, okay, 14.
14. So 16 is not hot. I got to. Do I have to move it up to 18? No, I'm gonna keep it at 16.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it at 16. 16 is reasonable. People can't be mad at me. 16. We'll just do 16.
People can't be mad at you.
They will, but I'll be like, well, he had 14 the year before. It wasn't ridiculous.
You're lucky that you went before me because they won't be mad at you. They're gonna be mad at me. All right, let's talk about the Bengals for a second. There's been a word. Bengals fans, look, and
He's
let's
gonna
just
say
okay.
it, regression.
Oh my god.
No, not regression. There's a bigger word. There's a bigger trigger word in Cincinnati right now that's been going around Twitter. And I want to talk about it because I have a take on it too. Fluke. They've been called a fluke a lot. The word fluke has been thrown around. Were the Bengals a fluke? Are the Bengals a fluke? That was a fluke what happened last year, right? It's like it's been thrown around a lot. Here's the thing. It was a fluke that the Bengals were a fluke last year. 100% they were a fluke, okay? So I went and looked up the numbers because you guys know me. I'm very, into the analytics, the DVOA and all that, right? EPA per play, success rate and, drive, the drive success rate and all of that, okay? So went and dug up the numbers. I'm like, wait, hold on. We're talking about a fluke last year. Like, yeah, no, the Bengals definitely were a fluke last year. So I went and dug up DVOA, who I think does the best job of kind of rating teams on like a game-by-game basis getting into the playoffs. The Bengals were the worst team to ever make the Super Bowl in the last 10 years, by far. I mean, you look up the numbers. Last year, the Rams were the 5th best team in DVOA. The Bengals were the 17th. The Bengals in DVOA numbers were below average, right? We're talking about, 16th being the middle of the pack. They were 17th, right? The next worst I could find was 2012 Baltimore, and that 2012 Baltimore team was 10th, and we all know about that team, right? I mean, they Joe Flacco miracled their way to that Super Bowl. So look, okay, were the Bengals a fluke last year? Yes, the Bengals were a fluke last year. That's why we all said on the show all year, like, hey man, come on, like we like the Bengals, but not that much, not Super Bowl much, not division winner much, And I think here's the thing. Now the question is, they were a fluke last year. Would it be a fluke if they did it again this year? No, right? And that's where I kind of disagree with the fluke people, is that they say, well, it was a fluke, and therefore it can't happen again. And the problem I have with those people is that no, it was a year early. It was a fluke because it was a year early. Everybody who kind of followed this, like, no, the Bengals are 1 year early on this, right? They're not going to make the Super Bowl this year because it's Burrow in year 2, it's Chase in year 1. Like, these guys are not going to put it together at the end of the year. And the fluke is that they did, right? I mean, like, the crazy part about the Bengals last year is that they had a crazy run defensively. They were able to hit big play after big play in that playoff run, and they made a legitimate. I mean, they had a chance to win that Super Bowl for not just being in it. They were there to win it. So again, I thought last year, yes, it was a fluke. And I think Bengals fans would agree, you can't play the same way again, right? I mean, I think Bengals fans would even agree if the Bengals came out and improved 0% on the offensive line and 0% on a kind of play-to-play basis, not just big plays, but like on a play-to-play basis, there's no way they do that again, right? There's no way they make the Super Bowl again, right? I mean, I think we can, So for me, when it comes to the Bengals, I think this is the thing with the regression stuff, and the reason why I've always kind of pushed back against myself on the regression stuff, because I do believe that there's a regression coming for the Bengals. The problem is, like I just said, it was last year was a fluke. Yeah, I mean, they weren't the second best team in the league or whatever. They weren't a top 5 team. They made the Super Bowl anyway. This year, they could legitimately be a top 5 team. That's the thing that people are forgetting. If we're talking about a team a year ago that was a year early, well, this year they arrived, right? This is the year we all thought, okay, this is the year they actually arrived. And they've already played in 4 postseason games. They've already played in a Super Bowl where they were like plays away from winning. Right? This team, we're talking about, okay, what does a young team have to do? They have to learn how to win games. They have to learn how to win games close, learn how to win tough games, right? This team beat the Chiefs twice last year. They went into the number 1 seed Titans, won that game late. And they were in that Super Bowl the entire way. So, yeah, I mean, the thing for me with them when it comes to the regression side of it is, does that defense regress at all? When it comes to like the secondary on like a play-to-play basis on that defense, because they were great in the postseason. They weren't necessarily great in the regular season. And I don't know that I would say that defense was so young last year to believe that they're going to make the kind of progressions I think their offense is. So I think for me, I probably lean over on the Bengals. 9.5 is probably a little low from my perspective, because it's like, boy, how the hell does this team not win 10? They're another team like the Ravens. I kind of feel like the Ravens and Bengals, to me, I could interchange them. You could paint me a story that said the Ravens go like 9-8 this year, right? Now, okay, I could believe that injury stuff and they get, weird stuff happens. But you could also paint me a picture where they're a 15-win team. And the same thing for the Bengals. You could paint me a picture and say they ended up only winning 9 or 10 this year, and I'll go, okay, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that could happen. Then you could also paint me the picture of, no, they're the best team in the AFC. They're a 14, 15-win team. So I have them over here. And my hot take, though, is they don't make the playoffs. They're the one. And when we talk about we all beat each other up in the AFC North and someone misses, right? I mean, like the Bengals missing the playoffs. I mean, same with the Ravens, right? The Ravens missing the playoffs too is not out of the realm of possibility. So those are my hot takes.
So you have them
I have them. Yeah, I would say they're for me, they're at 10. I would put them at 10 and 7.
10.
By the way, Tony, I've noticed this. You don't think the Ravens can get below 10 wins. Same thing with the Bengals. One of these teams going to finish in last place. What you trying to say? What you trying to say, Tony?
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for Hey, listen, Q, I'm not trying to pick on the Browns, but do I think we're going to finish? I'm just
saying, it sounds like you saying we finishing in last place this year.
Well, it is.
You know what?
But here's the thing.
It's going to be a reverse of what I done did to you. You putting us in the grave already. All right.
I didn't. I had you guys at 8. I
don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Let me go with Dylan here says, Tony always says Cincinnati
I got to pull these numbers up.
Off big plays. But the Chiefs, Packers, and Buccaneers consistently do white.
That's a lie about the Chiefs, but the Chiefs don't really live off big plays as much as people think. They throw a lot of tunnel screens and a lot of screens.
Look up. Here's the number I always go back to on this. Here's the number I go back to on this. It's called drive success rate. I first found this number when I was looking up the Bengals, or not the Bengals, the Ravens. Drive success rate I like a lot. It's the percentage of drives in which you either get a first down or a touchdown. It's essentially you're measuring 3 and outs, right? The Bengals last year, I think, were I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think they were like 18th or 20th or something like that. The Ravens, by the way, were horrific in that number. But I think to me, right, when we talk about consistency on offense, just kind of a play-to-play basis, the Bengals were not one of, you think about them and they should be. And that's why I think they're, when we talk about like they were a fluke last year, but they won't be this year, because they're going to be so much better. I mean, again, do we believe that another year of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd playing together are going to finish the year 17th or 20th in drive success? They're going to have all these 3 and outs again. I find that very hard to believe.
That's why it was pretty obvious, like that people didn't watch the Bengals because they until later on in the season when they're like, oh, their offense is just amazing. I'm like, you haven't been watching this season. The offense was extremely inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're capable of the spectacular, right? And then and in a red zone culture, right? You really can't blame people because we do live in this like red zone culture where we just get the YouTube highlights and we get the red zone plays.
14-minute highlights make you feel like you watched the whole game without watching the whole game.
Right. They're not showing you, you're going to see that Jamar Chase just took a wide receiver screen 80 and outran 4 defenders to the end zone, right? You're not going to see the other 3 drives that started the game where it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And it was, what are we doing? Yeah.
Okay, so here's my Bengals. I think the Bengals finished 12-5. I think I'm the highest of the all four. I think the Bengals are a good team. I think they were
And they're gonna
good
be
last.
maddest at you still, Sonny.
Yeah.
They might.
No, I call them a fluke. They're gonna they're gonna latch onto that one.
Dog, man, Bengal fans just be jumping on Sonny for no reason sometimes. They was just like, oh, Sonny, you Raven scum. Like, dog, you said 12-5. Let them live.
Yeah. I mean, last year when I said for the first time, I think they're gonna win the division. That broke them up.
You did, yeah. You did say that.
We were winning the division. I think we we're up by a game or two. I think Bengals are gonna win this division, and God knows they thought. I mean, anyway,
They was like, oh, what took them so long? That's how you know when they hate. No,
but no, I got on you, Sonny, for that because I felt like it was. I thought you were putting undue expectation on a young team like that.
Yeah,
that's why
I think people took it as because you were like they should. I mean, they shouldn't not win the division. I think that's why people took it that way.
I was proven right because
you were. I mean, you were right.
I can see how things were moving because I think it was late. I think it was like 5 games ago. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think 12-5. I think 12-5 is a good record for them this year. I think they're gonna be more consistent. Last year, it was their year for them to learn how to play with each other. I think this team is just good. I think they're sound. The question with them is if the secondary doesn't hold, specifically the secondary. How will be the shootouts, right? Like constantly being in a shootout. That can be problematic, although that D-line can be good enough that they're not in a shootout because of the pressure they're going to put. Hot takes, I would say I have two. I like Hayden Hurst. So I'm going to say that he's the third receiving.
More yards than Mark Andrews?
No. Third receiving yards in the team. No, not more than Mark Andrews.
Amigos is going to be below Hayden. Which one?
Which
T.
one?
Higgins?
I don't know.
No, which one did he disrespect last year? Was it Tyler Boyd or T. Higgins?
We all like Tyler Boyd a lot, but there's there's a pecking order there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I didn't disrespect T. Higgins. I said that he was so good that he was not getting the
target. Oh, yeah, he should request the trade.
Yeah, and then he just exploded after that.
Come on, go forward with it. T. Higgins should request the trade after this year because he will be below Hayden Hurst.
No, I don't think he'll be Higgins. No, Higgins because Higgins is getting close to getting that bag. Nah, shit. No, it will be Tyler Boyd.
I've seen crazier things happen when players are close to contracts and teams all of a sudden want to lessen their targets. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Nah, I don't think Bengals do that. Now, my hotter take, the flaming take, this is something that I didn't want to tip my head earlier, but I think Hendrickson finished with more sacks than one of the other two.
Ooh, man, poor year for Miles. Tough year for Miles. Yeah, that's tough.
I'm not saying who. I think one of them.
What's the numbers like for players who get 22 sacks and what they do the year after?
They always have. I mean, of course, they always have a massive drop off. Yeah. I mean, obviously.
I think when Justin Houston had like 22, they had 8 the next year or something like that.
Yeah. I think the average is like the player goes down to like 13 or 14 the next year.
By the way, the fact that Tony knew them answers right off the top of his head, he was thinking about it.
Well, no, I'm saying these articles have been written about TJ. Yeah. I mean, like,
okay.
These articles have been written.
10 sack TJ.
10 sack.
This is how the division stats. Ace has the Bengals first, Ravens second, Pittsburgh third, Browns fourth. Q has Ravens first, Bengals second.
There was a little trouble
Browns
in there.
Third, Pittsburgh fourth. Tony has Ravens first, Bengals second, Browns third, in the Steelers fourth.
Well, I actually have Steelers third. We just don't know who knows. Who knows who finishes fourth?
All I'm gonna say is there's been a team that's been in third place for like the last 5 years that I feel like that you're taking our territory there. I think that L's coming to black and gold world. You know what I mean? But
I don't know.
Just let it play out, Quincy. Just let it play out. Trust the process. That's all.
And then Sunny and then myself has the Ravens first, Bengals second, Browns third, and Steelers fourth. And by the way, the Steelers record we have 9-8-7-6. That's the record.
6 is all I needed to hear, though. You just need to tell me 6, and I'm good. Good to go.
If the Browns sweep the Jets, can the Jets qualify for the L? I mean, if the whole AFC North,
AFC North gets the L, we should do a special L episode. Recap episode.
Just put the Jets in the L for that week.
Jets in the L for
that week. Like a reveal. Let the new logo.
I talked to
the end of the season.
I talked to a Jets podcaster today. They're feeling confident about those Jets.
Damn, even with Joe Flacco,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
feel better with Joe Flacco, don't they? Because
No. He loves Zach Wilson.
Are they really about to start Joe Flacco? Like they're not considering the GOAT Mike White at all?
No,
It's
it's
Flacco
Joe
season?
Flacco
job to lose.
or
Didn't he come out and like throw an interception in the preseason?
Yeah, pick
I mean,
six.
he's Joe Flacco. Not just Joe Flacco, like not trying. He's Joe Flacco in 2022. Like his best season was 10 years ago.
Sure. Anyway, guys, that's all we have. We're coming back this week. We're coming back with 2 now. So we're gonna do the preview of week 1 Wednesday. So make sure you hit that. If you have subscribe, but if you haven't, hit that bell. Also, big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring and for True Classic for presenting this show to you. See you next time. Peace out, my guys.
Steelers